Hey everyone, welcome back to our 3-part series of a 17-day adventure across Portugal. In part 1, we explored the north, 6 unforgettable days based in Porto, surrounded by the vineyards of the Douro Valley, and visits to Guimarães, Braga, and Aveiro. If you missed it, check out the link in the description. Now part 2 takes us through 6 incredible days in central Portugal, 2 in the historic university city of Coimbra, followed by 4 in Lisbon, where we also ventured out to Sintra's fairytale palaces and the medieval charm of Obidos. This leg of the journey is packed with culture, history, and some of the country's most iconic sites. Join me as we continue this adventure into the heart of Portugal. On day 7, we left Porto behind and boarded a train from the beautiful São Bento railway station, heading south to Coimbra, our next destination. Coimbra is a historic city in central Portugal, once the country's capital. We stayed here for 2 days, originally planning a day trip to Tomar. But with one of us not feeling well, and the train ride being longer than expected, we decided to slow down and spend those 2 days exploring Coimbra instead. While searching for lunch in Coimbra's historic center, we stumbled upon the iconic Santa Cruz Church, a 12th century monument, renowned as the resting place of Portugal's first 2 kings, and admired for its striking blend of Romanesque, Manueline, and Baroque architecture. With our energy replenished, we wandered uphill through Coimbra's medieval streets. After a short climb, we reached the old cathedral, a Romanesque masterpiece that truly feels like stepping back into medieval Portugal. From the old cathedral, we continued uphill until we reached the University of Coimbra, one of the oldest in Europe, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and the heart of the city's identity. Perched on its hilltop, the University of Coimbra commands sweeping views across the city and river valley. Also, for an admission fee of €15.50 per person, we visited 3 attractions. The first being the renowned Biblioteca Joanina, an incredibly ornate Baroque library. Photography isn't allowed inside, but its grandeur feels straight out of a fantasy. It's truly unmissable if you're visiting Coimbra, but be sure to book ahead, library slots are limited and often sell out quickly. Next on our tour was St. Michael's Chapel, a small but dazzling space inside the university. Its walls are covered with colorful azulejo tiles, and the richly decorated ceiling creates a vibrant atmosphere. The highlight is the 18th century pipe organ, which still plays today and fills the chapel with a powerful sound. From there, we stepped into the royal palace of Alcântara, once the residence of Portuguese kings. The palace courtyard also offers sweeping views over Coimbra, making it a perfect spot to pause and take in the city's history. Just a short walk away, we reached St. Nova, New Cathedral, a striking 16th to 18th century Jesuit church that later became the city's main cathedral. With that, we descended through the narrow streets back to the main pedestrian street, where the hum of cafes and the rhythm of daily life welcomed us into the city's vibrant downtown. The next morning, on day 8, we crossed the river to explore the other side of Coimbra. From the bridge, the view back toward the University Hill was breathtaking, its towers rising above the red rooftops. Our first stop was Santa Clara-a-Velha, the haunting Gothic ruins of a convent once swallowed by floods, now beautifully restored. A short climb brought us to Santa Clara-a-Nova, where Queen Isabel's tomb rests. The church is open to visitors for a small fee. Perched above the city, the church commands sweeping views across the Mondego River and back toward the historic center. In the afternoon, we returned to the historic center. While wandering its streets, we stumbled upon a typical pastry of Coimbra, the pastel de Tanchagol. With its delicate, crisp layers and intensely sweet filling, it was a delightful discovery. We then walked along Praça do Comércio, a quiet stroll on a rainy day. As the sun set on our time in Coimbra, we closed the day with chanfana, the region's traditional goat stew, simmered slowly in red wine until tender, a dish that carries centuries of history, and the perfect way to end our journey here. Day 9 began with a hearty breakfast at the hotel, fueling us for the journey ahead. From there, an Uber ride took us to Coimbra station for our train bound to Lisbon. Our tickets were bought online via the CP app. But the morning didn't start well. The train was delayed twice, testing our patience before we could finally set off towards Portugal's vibrant capital. 2 hours later, we reached Lisbon's Santa Apollonia station and took the metro to our hotel. After settling in, our first stop was Praça Dom Pedro IV, better known as Rocio Square. For centuries, this square has been the beating heart of Lisbon, a stage for celebrations, protests, and daily life. Its distinctive wave-pattern cobblestones seem to ripple underfoot, while the Grand National Theatre and elegant 18th century buildings frame the scene. A few steps away lies Praça de Figueira, a lively square framed by pastel buildings and watched over by the bronze statue of King João I. Next, we made our way to the Santa Justa elevator in Santa Maria Maior, an elegant iron structure rising above the city with promises of stunning views. Unfortunately, it was closed that day. Built at the turn of the 20th century, the elevator was originally designed as public transport, carrying locals from Lisbon's Lower Baixa district up to this walkway that leads directly to Lago do Carmo in Chiado, making it a convenient shortcut between neighborhoods. Lisbon is a city built on hilly terrain. Beyond the famous Santa Justa lift, modern elevators are tucked into buildings and streets, quietly serving locals as they navigate the steep slopes away from the tourist crowds. And then there are the trams, especially the iconic Tram 28, winding through historic neighborhoods, helping both locals and visitors conquer Lisbon's inclines with ease. A few steps after the Santa Justa elevator, the Grand Arco da Rua Augusta came into view, its ornate archway welcoming us into Lisbon's most iconic square, the Praça do Comércio. Once the site of the Royal Palace, today it opens onto the Tagus River, framed by golden arcades and alive with the rhythm of the city. From there, we continued just around the corner to the Church of Nossa Senhora de Conceição, where its ornate Manueline portal stood as a survivor of the 1755 earthquake. Our walk then led us to Lisbon Cathedral, the city's oldest and most imposing church, standing strong since the 12th century. Climbing higher, we reached the Jardim Julio de Castillo viewpoint, where sweeping views of Alfama and the Tagus River unfolded beneath us. And finally, we ended our walk at the Miradouro de Greca, where the city stretched out in golden light, crowned by the medieval Castelo de São Jorge, a fortress that has watched over Lisbon for centuries, the perfect finale to our day's adventure. Day 10, a day trip to Sintra, known for its fairytale palaces, lush gardens, and epic viewpoints. We grabbed our train and bus tickets to Sintra at Rocio station, super easy, and you can also use the ticket machines if you prefer. About 40 minutes later, we reached Sintra, hopped on bus 434 right outside the station, and headed straight to the star of the show, Penal Palace, skipping the first stop at the Moorish castle. At the entrance, we picked up our tickets from the machine, though buying online works too, and then made the uphill walk. Perched high in the Sintra Mountains, the vibrant Penal Palace, with its fairytale colors, intricate design, and breathtaking views, is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. From the palace interior, you can spot the Moorish castle through its windows. We spent some time wandering through the palace's rooms and halls, marveling at their ornate details. After lunch at a cafe inside the palace, we hopped on bus 434 back to Sintra station, then switched to bus 435 for our next stop, Quinta de Regaleira. At the entrance, long queues filled the ticket office, so to avoid a wait, we bought our tickets online on the official site. From there, we walked toward Regaleira Tower. We then headed uphill to the highlight of this trip, the Initiation Well, an inverted tower plunging 27 meters into the earth. Its spiral staircase winds down like a journey into mystery, said to symbolize ancient initiation rituals. At the bottom, hidden tunnels lead to cave-like passages and secret exits, making it feel like stepping into another world. Beyond the well, we also discovered the Chapel of the Holy Trinity and other chapels tucked into the gardens, each adding to the spiritual atmosphere. Finally, we reached the palace, a neo-Manilai masterpiece with ornate towers and carved stone details. Leaving Regaleira, we strolled down into Sintra's historic center. Narrow cobblestone streets, pastel-colored houses, and lively cafes gave the town a timeless charm. The square buzzed with visitors, while local shops offered pastries, crafts, and souvenirs, perfect for soaking in the atmosphere to end our day in Sintra. Before leaving, we couldn't resist trying Sintra's signature pastries, flaky travesseiros filled with almond cream, and the centuries-old quejadas de Sintra, sweet cheese tarts with a hint of cinnamon, a perfect taste of tradition before walking back to Sintra station for our journey back to Lisbon. Day 11, a day trip to Obidos, a charming medieval town in central Portugal. To get there, we took the metro to Campo Grande station, tapped out with our credit card, then exited left here and walked toward the bus terminal located below the train tracks. There, we boarded this express bus and paid in cash on board, as only cash is accepted. After an hour's ride, we arrived in Obidos, a medieval town wrapped in stone walls and brimming with charm. Entering by the main gate, we were greeted by a Baroque chapel, its walls adorned with shimmering blue azulejos, a timeless welcome into the medieval heart of Obidos. To the left of the main gate entrance, we headed straight for the steep steps that led to the top of the wall. The climb was narrow and uneven, but once we reached the summit, the reward was spectacular. Obidos stretched out below us, a maze of whitewashed houses, terracotta rooftops, and winding cobbled lanes, all framed by the rolling countryside beyond. After a brief walk along the medieval walls, we descended the narrow steps back into the heart of Obidos, strolling along Rua de Rita, the main street lined with shops selling ginginia, cherry liqueur, handicrafts, and souvenirs. The stroll led us to the main square, where the elegant Santa Maria Cathedral stands, its whitewashed facade a timeless reminder of Obidos' medieval past. Continuing along, we reached the Santiago Church, once a royal chapel, now transformed into a charming bookstore, a place where centuries of history meet shelves of stories. After a few steps through the gate, we arrived at Obidos Castle, its towering walls rising above the town as a majestic symbol of Portugal's heritage. From here, the view stretches across the rooftops and rolling hills, a perfect finale to our journey through this enchanting medieval town. Before leaving, we tried the famous Guinness cherry liqueur, served in little chocolate cups, a sweet and spirited farewell to Obidos. Back we returned to Lisbon, enjoying the rolling countryside and scenic views along the way, a peaceful end to our day in Obidos. With still a few hours before nightfall, we headed down to Belem, first to taste the famous pastéis de nata at the legendary bakery, warm, flaky, and filled with creamy custard, the most unforgettable bite among all we have tried in Portugal. To dine in, the wait is long. Just a short walk away, we found ourselves standing before the Church of Saint Mary of Bethlehem, where sailors once prayed before embarking on voyages. Beside it stood the Jeronimos Monastery, a 16th century Manuli masterpiece whose soaring arches and intricate carvings spoke of Portugal's age of discovery and its UNESCO recognition. To catch its full view, we went across to Jardim de Porca do Imperico. From there, we wandered down to the riverfront, where the monument to the discoveries rose like the prow of a ship, its stone figures of Prince Henry the Navigator, Vasco da Gama, and Luis de Comões pointing toward the horizon. Finally, we reached the Tower of Belem, standing guard at the mouth of the Tagus, a fortress that once protected Lisbon's harbour and now stands as a timeless reminder of Portugal's maritime glory. To close the day, we returned to the city centre and stepped into the lively time-out market. The hall buzzed with voices and clinking glasses, the air rich with aromas of seafood, spices, and fresh bread. On day 12, the final day of our Central Portugal tour, we spent our morning exploring Lisbon city further. Our first stop brought us to a vibrant Lisbon sign and monument, before tackling a steep climb. The steep climb led us to our destination, the Miradouro de São Pedro de Alcântara, a terrace garden with breathtaking views across the city. Just a few steps after leaving the viewpoint, we chanced upon a little shop serving irresistible croissants, an unexpected treat that is definitely worth a try. Continuing, we soon reached Pink Street, one of Lisbon's most famous nightlife hubs, for a quick photo shoot. At midday, it was calm and almost empty. From there, we wandered toward Cais do Soda station, pausing to admire the birds soaring gracefully against the sky. Soon after, we boarded a train bound for Cascais, a seaside town west of Lisbon. We bought our train tickets at the ticket machine using the ticket top-up card we got during our trip to Sintra. After just 40 minutes from Lisbon, we've arrived at Cascais. Stepping out of the train station, the adventure began right here in this charming seaside town. From the station, we stroll down Rua Frederico Aruca, Cascais' bustling pedestrian street. The air is filled with the aroma of fresh pastries, boutique shops showcase Portuguese crafts, and cafes spill out onto the cobblestones. From Rua Frederico Aruca, we continued down to Cascais Bay. Fishing boats gently rock in the water, pastel-colored houses frame the shoreline, and the fortress stands proudly at the edge of the harbour. Once a busy fishing port, this bay is now a place to pause and soak in the coastal charm. Standing proudly on the edge of Cascais Bay is Palace Seixas, one of the town's most iconic mansions. It was built in the early 20th century, when Cascais transformed from a fishing village into a royal summer resort. Next, we arrived at the fortress of Nossa Senhora de Luz, standing proudly against the coastline. Just beside the fortress, we discovered a collection of intriguing sculptures, adding a modern artistic touch to this historic setting. Built in the 16th century to defend against pirates, the fortress of Nossa Senhora de Luz still watches over the harbour today. Its stone walls remind us of Cascais' strategic importance on Portugal's Atlantic coast. Finally, we arrived at Cascais Marina, where sleek yachts line the docks, the perfect spot to end our trip in Cascais. From Cascais station, we took the train to Lisbon and alighted at Alcântara. After a short 10-minute walk, we reached LX Factory, our final destination, where history meets creativity. A former textile complex, LX Factory, has been transformed into Lisbon's creative playground. Colorful murals cover old warehouses, and cafes buzz with energy. To end our Lisbon adventure, we savored our last meals, cured raw white fish, delicate and refreshing, and Iberian grilled pork, smoky and tender, a delicious finale to our journey. That wraps up our 6 days in central Portugal. Next, we journey south into the Algarve, Portugal's sun-drenched coast, where golden cliffs, hidden sea caves, and charming fishing villages reveal a whole new side of the country. Stay tuned for part 3 of this adventure, as we uncover the Algarve's natural wonders and vibrant culture. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe, give us a thumbs up, and share your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.